when candles are telling you. So anyway, looking at Bitcoin, I had this triangle marked out, and I had a trade plan which I executed last night at about 2 a.m. and basically on my Twitter, I actually show you now. I actually did it out live. I did it live. I did, you know, I have a trade plan. I will. So this was my trade plan. Here, see clearly. What I was looking for was for the price to come into this kind of golden pocket area between this low, this pivot low, and this pivot high. And I was looking for it to back test and hold this trend line of these 2 points, and I was also looking for a swing failure pattern for this low. And got what I wanted, and then I didn't. So when I saw this candle here, this 5-minute candle, you see how it's a green pin coming into this 618. It took the liquidity from this candle here. It took the liquidity from this candle here, and it's clearly a reaction. You can see it's a green pin. As the price was coming up, I took. That's what this buy was here, and my invalidation was underneath the current low, the low that it had currently made just here, and I was stopped out, and so that was % risk. And then I saw price, you can't see it here, but I saw the price a bit lower down, swing failure, the current low, and I've seen this before. Its swing failure is this low, and I took an entry and it came up to here and it stopped me out. So I got stopped out twice on that trade. See? Bought one, sold, lost 1%. Bought one, sold, lost 1%. So I got stopped out. I lost 2% on that trade, which is fine, normal. And then I made a post, invalidity first. My first post was executing my BTC trade plan. Let's go. Okay. So I actually did it live, told people what I was doing. I saw an increase in volume here, so I thought that was okay. Got stopped out twice, and normally I don't take two trades consecutively, but I knew that this was quite a really interesting area. There was quite a lot of confluence in this area, and I thought I didn't see a reason why I shouldn't take 2 shots at it. And to see in hindsight, I probably should have just taken 1 shot and waited. And so I changed my bias. Not my bias, I changed my idea for entering now. Because the reality is, the reason why I only did 2 and didn't do any more was because after we took out, basically I saw that the price had come underneath this trend line here, and I was not looking to long after the price had come underneath this trend line and this golden pocket area. I wasn't going to long into that, because that would be longing into resistance. If that whole area, this whole area could have flipped into the resistance and the price could have continued. There is no way for me to know that this wouldn't now become resistance. So now that the price was lower than these wicks here, there was no way for me to know that this wouldn't just continue down, and I wasn't going to long into that. And so on my Twitter, after I failed those 2 trades, I indicated now looking for a reversal pattern and strength. Okay. So I actually I did it live, and I went back to bed. That's what you do. Give it time to figure itself out, and you need more candles to print. And when I actually woke up at about 6 or so, I looked at the charts and I was going, okay, this is interesting. What am I looking at now? Well, a few things I'm going to show to you. Let me just hide this. I'm going to show you what I've looked at, and what I realized when I discovered that it was a good to trade this, right? I looked at the time, looking at the lower time. So a couple of things. First and foremost, what I was looking for was, firstly, I saw that the price was trading back above this low here. Okay. So when I left it, the price was lower, and now I saw the price was above this low. So that was my first indication that there is an exhaustion in the sellers. Okay. Then, as I analyzed it, I saw that the price had come back. So I was looking at about 536, between 530 and 6. I saw the price had come back above this golden pocket area and this upward trend line. See? So to lose a trend line is weakness, but to reclaim a trend line is considered strength. And I was looking for strength. And so as I was looking at this on the lower time frame, at about 5:30, 5:45, 6, I saw the price was now back above this trend line that we had, and that was strength, and it was back above this original level which I had taken a swing failure pattern trade on prior, which I got stopped out. So basically the price was back above the original place where I took a long, except with the original long I was stopped out because the price went much lower, and I wasn't willing to risk not knowing if the price would continue. So I was willing to take that loss, and I took it twice. My bias was correct, but the execution was extremely difficult, because usually with swing failures you'll get a reaction that does continue, and there just wasn't enough reaction or liquidity to go up at that level. But once these lower levels had been reached, that's when the liquidity came back in. And actually what happened, I'll show you, is you got this, do you see this big red candle here? That was a big short sell, like a market sell, big volume. So someone was looking at this, they saw that this trend line was lost, just sold. And the market does what it normally does, is it reversed their volume. And you see, when I saw that this volume was reversed with this candle here, and it was holding, and it came back to hold, I was like, okay, that's interesting. This candle's volume has been reversed, and we're back above this level, and we're back above the golden pocket, and we're back above this trend line. There's lots of reasons as to why I was willing to take that trade, and I had an invalidation, because once we're back above that trend line, I don't really want it to come back underneath these levels here. That would be wrong. That's not correct, because now you're losing levels again. You just reclaimed all these levels. Why would you want to lose these levels? So I took a long and then I added to it. See that? 1, 2, and about 6, 1, 2, and look what happened. Ping. Price went up. Why did that price go up? Well, I can tell you the reason why usually that happens is you have a market buy, and it's not necessarily someone buying. It's usually that kind of price action belongs to a short closing their position, a big short closing. So I think what you're experiencing with this kind of price action is that someone who is short from wherever saw that the price had lost these levels and had suddenly now reclaimed them. So they saw strength. Because they saw strength, they closed their positions at market. They weren't going to allow, they weren't going to mess about with this anymore. Because if the sellers were in control, there's no reason why the price should come back. Should have just kind of drooped, lost this, and then gone down. That's what you would expect if the sellers, if the market had lost interest in longs. That's the kind of price action you would expect after losing these key levels. So when you lose levels, you're expecting certain behavior. When you don't get in that behavior, then you have to flip your bias. So I wasn't looking for shorts, to be honest with you. I just wanted more information, and I was only looking for longs. And the reason why I was only looking, because on the higher time frame, my bias was long. Why was my bias long? Let me show you. Because on the daily time frame, you've got some weak bearish candles. Yeah, you've got this. You see this red daily candle hammer into the. Yeah, that's very weak. On this green hammer into the highs, strong bearish candle should have been a full red candle closing down at the. And then the next candle, bearish candle, you took the liquidity from the top of this green candle, increasing volume, but you only just closed a little bit low. Very weak. These are weak bearish candles. Have increasing volume, the price has basically gone nowhere. So this gave me a bias. It was basically telling me that with increasing bearish volume, with the bears being in control, they were failing. They were losing. And so my idea was to take the liquidity underneath the bottom of these two red candles long. That's what I was looking for, that kind of behavior. I was looking at these wherever they're gone now. Yeah. I was looking at these trend lines. So I don't actually I don't love the fact that this trend line was, both of them were ignored. Back test, and this. It's very hard to trade this. Very difficult to trade this, but you can see this upward one now has been respected. So even though it was ignored the first time, because it's been respected the last time, I'm not going to delete that. But I think this one for me is done with this trend line. But ignore that one. Just delete it. And I think this golden pocket area is done as well. We have this trend line which has been back tested. We lost it, but we back tested it. Because we back tested it, with the current price action, today's price action, I'll keep that. And for me, an indication of weakness now is quite simply that we lose this trend line again. And luckily, it's an upward, it's in an upward direction. So hopefully, if that continues to keep, then price should continue to go upwards. We'll see. We have to see how this day plays out, actually, because even though we have kind of as well, looking at the daily candles, we've taken liquidity from the bottom of these previous 2 days. We're now trading higher than yesterday, which is already, we're looking at some kind of bullish reversal. We haven't taken the liquidity from the highs of these candles yet, and I think this one, actually, this one and this one, and I think it's going to be quite important to see how the price reacts when we do take the liquidity from them. Because if we just end up back in the range with some kind of doji, then we're obviously still in a kind of sideways indecision action. Or do we squeeze up and end up a little bit higher, which is going to look more like a bullish reversal? And I think we still have time. We have to give this a little bit more time to figure out what it's going to do. You look at, if you break down all of the time frames, it still looks like we're some kind of sideways range. Doesn't really look like we're going anywhere. But the good thing about the BTC price action is that because we've held support, I think a lot of the altcoins are going to start rolling again. See how that plays out. Let me just do a volume pull here. Look at that. So in the last 4 hours, we lost the point of control, and we reclaimed the point of control, and we've even back tested the point of control. Now we're in the value area high, so we're in a very tight range in the top part of this value area high. And logic would suggest that we have to break this and back test it for support for continuing. We've been in this area for such a long time. It's a very different price action to this behavior up here, because if you see up here, we were making lower highs. You see that? Here, we're not making lower highs. Every high has been at the same level. We've been knocking on the door of these highs in the same, very different to this. See, you could almost argue that maybe we're kind of in this kind of price behavior where we're looking to go down, but actually we're not. We're knocking on the door continuously. We're not creating lower highs. We're still kind of at the same level, trying to get through. And you see here again, you had that same kind of downward behavior where it actually looked like the price wanted to fall. Did that twice. This was the third time, and you can see here it's not doing that. It's kind of flat. Very different. You can see there's a difference in the way the candle formation, right? And we are making higher lows. Yeah? This, we weren't able to take liquidity from. We're back above the point of control. I would say that we are actually still in bullish consolidation, resistance. That's what we're kind of forming right now, right? And we have to see this plays out. Are we going to move this higher range? There's a higher range here. It's there. We're going to go up, start consolidating in the high range. If that was to happen, that would be extremely bullish. Be back in the higher range. And actually, if we do get back into the higher range, very possible that we don't really consolidate, we just squeeze up, we start consolidating up there, channel mid, and then that will be the deciding. Then we'll see what happens. Would we have a failed auction or where we have bullish continuation to go back up? So there's a lot of things that could play out now. Right now the price action bullish manner, but it's very difficult to trade. The reason why it's difficult to trade is because of, showed you my trades. Might have a plan and you still get stopped out and the price could still go in your direction. So unless you're willing to still execute your plan, you're going to end up losing. Taking profit trade. I still haven't taken a large portion of the profit off my trade because I'm still looking for a profit, but I'm looking for higher. That's what I'm doing. I made a certain risk. I'm looking for a certain reward, otherwise the trade isn't worthwhile. Can't make a certain amount of trade, it's not worthwhile me taking the trade. So I would like to see us at the very least squeeze above these highs and maybe these highs, see if we can get up there. I'd like to see if we can get up into this higher. That's when I'll be taking profit, probably looking to take profit here. See if we can squeeze this high, take profit here. Get a rejection, that's fine because I'm taking profit. If we don't, if we get into the range, then I could look to take another long back test. How I approach this today, not looking for any shorts. Even if we reject off the bottom of the, not looking for shorts, simply because of the formation of higher lows, not making highs. I'm not seeing lower highs, so not even looking to short Bitcoin. The sentiment is still up. The sentiment. You look at the other tokens or pairs in comparison, you'll see, like for example, when you look at ETH BTC, you'll still see that actually ETH BTC is bleeding into Bitcoin still in anticipation for what's coming possibly. The last how many days now, since the 29th of December, ETH BTC has been bleeding into Bitcoin. And that has had an impact on all of the crypto market. And then when you looking at total market cap to crypto cap, it hasn't really been bleeding. It's kind of going sideways. So you're not getting value leave crypto. All you're getting right now is a rotation of value from ETH into Bitcoin. See, this is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. So you're getting a little bit of a rotation. So we lost this, had this mark, this line out from this previous high. See, we lost it. So we're actually under resistance now. Total market cap excluding Bitcoin. I think if you want the altcoins to rally, you need to get back above here first. It's a key level to reclaim. Start seeing a bigger rally on the altcoins. This is excluding ETH and Bitcoin, and you see you're getting a significant sell-off, and you are underneath this SR. Again, it is showing weakness. The altcoins are showing weakness right now. You can see it in the way the price is behaving. And then if you look at the USDT dominance, this is quite interesting too, because I have this this higher time frame trend line. See that? This low, these lows all the way up to where we are now. Shown this analysis in the past. Zoom into like the, so you can see how the trend line seems to be acting as resistance. So there's no strength on USDT dominance. So I'm not seeing the money flow in a crazy way back into USDT. Part of the reason why is because of this impending news and ETF news on Bitcoin. People are putting them on Bitcoin. What's happening? And so all of these depths are now, at the moment, they're being bought up. I can't tell you if they're being bought up, if it's mostly leveraged longs or if it's mostly spot long. I think there's a little bit of both. And this is looking quite big volume candle. It's looking quite bullish actually. Higher lows. We're back above this previous low here. Above that upward trend line. Yeah. There's no reason to think that this is going to collapse right now. If I take a volume tool of just this here, we're above the point wrong. Beneath the value area, maybe we're going to have a test. Probably be waiting. And if not, we're just going to go continue ranging sideways for a little bit.